Hey guys, welcome to the Chapter 11 review videos. These are just videos here to help explain some of the problems in case you have questions about them. So numbers 1 through 5 are all together here. The directions state, write two different polar coordinates that represent each point shown in the graph below. Give the angle measure in radians. So we're going to be doing this in radians. You'll see down below I actually have a lot more answer blanks written out because I want to show you that there are all different kinds of answers that you could come up with here. And what I'm going to focus on here are the four kind of corresponding answers that kind of go together. And you'll see what I mean as we're going through this here. So number one, we're looking for the coordinates of point A, right? So remember, we still have our x-axis here, right? This is where we'd be at 0 radians. So what I want us to focus on here is where, angle A is going to be. Okay, so it's going to be we have that ray that extends out, but it also extends through the other side here, right? So this goes all the way over here. So I'm going to find on this two positive angles, and I'm going to find two negative angles. So that'd be a total of 4 angles that we're going to be looking at here. So as I start out here, right, let's do the positive ones first. If I start here at 0 and I rotate up to here, okay, so our polar grid here, right, is broken into, it's broken into twelfths for, so 12 twelfths would be pi. So we know, this would be 12 twelfths pi, or 1 pi. And if we went all the way around there, right, we could think about this as 24 twelfths pi. That's what it's broken into. So as we've gone up 2 units there, right, so 2 twelfths, same thing as pi over 6 is the angle that's looking at here. Okay, so remember our angle, when we're writing these out here, is like what you would usually have is your y coordinate. So I'm going to say this is pi over 6 is my angle. And then my radius, if I count out, there's 1, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units. So it's positive 4 comma pi over 6. Remember, this is our radius length, and this is our angle of rotation there. Okay, so what I'm also going to do here now, okay, so that's one angle that's positive. What I'm also going to do here is I'm going to start at 0, and I'm going to go all the way around the circle until I get to the other side over here. Okay, so when we think about it, this distance right here was pi over 6, which means that this is also going to be a pi over 6. So if we are at, halfway around the circle, it'd be 6/6. So when we go an extra one here, this is 7 pi 6th. And if you need to get out your unit circle resource page, you can do that. There should be one in the in Schoology in the extended spring break folder. I put one in there, so if you're looking for one, there is one in there that you could get out and use if you're a little rusty with your unit circle. Okay, but I know that angle is 7 pi over 6. Now, if I count here, right, if I was to count in the direction, where the angle that we're at, right, this would be positive radius here. Right, because at 0 it's the middle, so this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means if we go the other direction, now our A is going to be a negative value, right? So we're going back -1, -2, -3, so now this A is a -4. So our coordinate here would be -4, comma 7 pi over 6. Notice that both of our angles down here, right, are positive angles. Okay, so there's usually 2 that will go together. One will have a positive coordinate, one will have a negative coordinate. So now we'll do the 2 that have negative angles. I'll do that one in red here. So again, if we start at 0 and we start measuring around here, if I go this direction, you'll see I will end up here, right? So it looks like we're just a little short of 6/6, so we're at 5/6, but this would be a negative 5 pi 6th. And since we're on this side of the circle, but point A is on the other side, that means it would be a -4. Now we could also take it here and we could start at 0 and go backwards to get our other negative angle that would work. And this one's going to go all the way around the circle until we get over here. And then this is where we're at, right? So we're a little short here of, if I went all the way around the circle, this would be, what, 12 pi sixths if we went all the way around the circle. So then that means that this angle up here is a negative 11 pi sixths. So our angle, when we go all the way around like that here, right, contains our point over here, right? It's actually over here on this side. So our coordinate that we'll use for the radius value would be positive 4. So those are the 4 possible answers. It only requires 2 up here when you're doing it, but any of those 4 would be correct. Hopefully that makes sense to you there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump into letter B here for anybody who may be confused. Okay, so this video might be a little longer. If you're wanting to check one of the other ones, go ahead and fast forward through to get it there. Okay, since I'm not able to talk to you about it in the classroom, I want to make sure I'm answering everybody's questions, or any question they have. So let's look here, right? If we started out here and we thought about our x-axis here at 0, our angle B, or that point B, is on the angle that opens up to here. So if we think about the positive angle that opens up, it goes to right there. Okay, and actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and just extend this through. Make sure you get the right one there. There it is. It's not very straight, but there you go. Okay, so remember, these are broken into 12ths. So this would be like pi over 2 at the very top, right? This is pi over 2, which is like 3 pi sixths. I'm sorry, 12ths. 3 pi, well, all right, let me get under control here. We talked about how it was in 12ths, right? This is only 1 unit over. So pi over 2 is like 6 pi 12ths, right? Because it's like a half of a pi. So we're going to go 1 more 12th. So this should be 7. I can't add 7 pi over 12. Okay, so that's like this one here, those are 12ths there. So we're going to say then our angle, our first positive angle, is 7 pi 12ths. And then we count out on our radius here, we're going to go out 1, 2. So that would be a positive 2. If we're going to do our other positive angle, right, we're starting at 0 and we're rotating all the way around till we get down here to the opposite side. Now the first thing we have to do is identify what angle that is. Okay, so this is exactly 1 pi away from, the other side where we were just at, right? If we were at 7 pi 12ths and now we're on the opposite side, this distance halfway around the circle is 12 twelfths. So if we take 7 pi 12ths plus 12 pi 12ths is going to give us 19 pi 12ths. So that's our other positive angle, 19 pi 12ths. Okay, so now, because the angle that we're at, right, we're on the opposite side of where B is, so now B is going to be a negative 2. Hopefully you're starting to see that there, if you were confused how these are working. So we go through now, let's do one of the negative angles. If we started here and we went backwards this direction and got to here, right? So now we're going to say here we've got a negative angle, and this would be, if we counted it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 twelfths. So we've got a negative 5 pi twelfths. And our radius value, because it's on the opposite side there, would be the negative 2 on this one. And then our last angle, right, if we start at 0 and we go backwards again all the way around till we get over to here. Okay, so think about it. We were at negative 5 pi twelfths here, and now we're going another 12 twelfths. So when you add that 12 twelfths, which remember it's like a negative 12 twelfths because we're going in the negative direction, we're going to have a negative 17 pi twelfths. So that is our other negative angle, negative 17 pi twelfths. And because we're over here, actually, this ray comes out and contains B, right? So our B is going to have a positive radius on that one then, so it would be a positive 2. Hopefully you're getting the hang of it now there. If you were stuck and you want to just go ahead and try to work out the rest, go for it there. I will go through and still explain them for anybody who is stuck. But please take advantage of the fast forward, rewind, whatever you need to do with these videos. All right, so we're going to look at number 3, which was point C. Point C is way over here on the left side. So if we're starting at 0 here, right, and this opens up and goes all the way over here, okay, so our way we can look at this here, if I wanted to say I was starting just at 0, I was going to say I was starting at 0 and I was opening up in the positive direction. Okay, so the first one here, I'll just look at it as like a rotation all the way around here, halfway around the circle. So that would be pi radians. So that would be pi radians. And it looks like our radius value is 5 on that one. Now, you could do this next one here. You could either just say, hey, this is 0, right? I could treat this as it's 0, and I didn't even move it because it's already on this line. If I thought about it as 0, okay, 0 radians there, then this would be a negative 5. You could also take it and said, hey, I was going to go all the way around the circle in a full circle there. You could have also said that was like 2 pi negative 5, right? Either of those would have been fine for that. And then let's just go the other direction. Let's say here now if I started and I went from 0 backwards like this, I could end up right here. Okay, so that would be like my negative pi radians. And we would be, since we're on this side, C would be a positive 5. If we just stayed here at 0, we could have also had there said, if it's 0, well, actually that's the same as what this one is, right? That one end up being the same there. Or we could take it here and we could rotate it all the way around till we get back over to here. And that would be, you could say, a negative 2 pi. And at the negative 2 pi, we would have a negative 5 because it's on the other side. Just looking at it, I guess there's another one. If we said we were starting, let's see. Well, that's probably enough for now. I don't want to overdo it. So if you have questions about that one there, just make sure you message me and I'll help you out even more. That one's a little different than the other ones we've been doing. Looking at D. Erase that off there again. So for D, we're talking about this angle here, and we'll just run it all the way through. Okay, so starting with our x-axis at 0 radians. Okay, so the first thing here, if I wanted to rotate this in the positive direction, right, if I go out this way, I'm going to go to that first ray I come to that's part of this angle. So that one there, we're at, what, 1/12, 2/12, 3/12. This is the same thing as 3/12 is pi over 4. So our first positive angle, pi over 4. And because point D is on the back side of it there, right, that means that it's going to have a negative radius. So that would be a negative 3. And if we took this and we went all the way around here to the other side, okay, so if we started at pi over 4 and we're adding 1 whole pi, or 4/4 pi, we get 5 pi fourths. So that's our angle here, 5 pi fourths. And since our point is on this side here, this would make it a positive 3. And now let's go backwards, right? So let's start at 0. Let's rotate around this direction till we get to here. Okay, so when we do that there, it looks like we've gone about 3/4 of the way around, that half of the circle. which is why that angle is negative 3 pi over 4. And for this one, right, D is on this side, so this means we're going to have a positive 3. And then when we take it here and we rotate it all the way around the circle this way, okay, so if we were at negative 3 pi fourths here, and we're going to add a negative 4 pi fourths, we should be at negative 7 pi fourths. So that is our angle, negative 7 pi fourths. And because our D is on the opposite side there, we know that it has to be a negative radius there, so negative 3. All right, so last one here, we'll talk about E. Not the best erase job, but we'll go with it. I don't want to take too long here. So think about E, right? Let's just kind of highlight in where we're at. So make sure I'm getting that straight there. Okay, so our x-axis over here is 0. So let's start out again. Let's just rotate it here. So it looks like, you know, this is 1 12, 2 12, 3 12, 4 12, 5 12, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 twelfths, which is really 5 pi over 6. So our first positive angle here, right, when we rotate this out over to here, is going to be 5 pi sixth. And it looks like our E is on the back side of it, right? So we'd have to count back, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. So it'd be negative 3, 5 pi over 6. We go ahead and rotate it all the way around until we get to this part. Okay, so we're just adding pi to it, right? So if we had 5 pi sixth plus 6 sixths should give us 11 pi sixths. And now our E value is on that side, so that would be a positive 3. There's our two positive angles. Now let's just go ahead and do the negative ones. Start at 0. Let's go back to here. So that'd be a 1/6, so we have a negative pi over 6. E is on this angle here where we're at, so we'll say that's a positive 3. And then we're going to take it and we're going to rotate it all the way around until we get to this side. So we've gone, if we were at pi over 6, and negative pi over 6, and we add a negative 6 sixths, that should give us to negative 7 pi sixths. So that is our angle over here. And E is on the opposite side, so we're going to have a negative 3 on that one. And those are all the possible answers you could have for numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you have questions, please let me know. I listed these on the answer key, the separate page there. If you need to look at it on Schoology, it's there for you. Thanks for watching.